I am a mom of 8, and I travel with those 8 kids right here in my 15-passenger van. And one of the questions I get asked all the time is how? This year alone, 2024, we have been from Louisiana's Gulf of Mexico coast all the way to the north shores of Lake Superior in northern Minnesota. So I have spent some quality time in this vehicle with all of my kids. I've got my list of things to share with you. Traveling has become such a positive experience for us, and I want it to be for you as well. Well, hey, if this is your first time here, I'm Katie. I'm a mom of 8, and we're adding up Addingtons, and I would love for you to subscribe and stick around with us. Let's talk about kids in the car. One thing that really helps kids on a road trip is having designated places for things in the back of the car. Now, we think about this a lot when we're organizing our homes or our kids' toys or clothes, but we tend to not translate that to the car. Having a place to put their water bottles or their toys or even trash. Have a trash can in your car that is designated. Ours is right here between the front seats. For longer trips, I will also put one in the back of the car. But our kids know, like, hey, what should I do with my trash? From the trash can. I do also recommend having something. It does not have to be this. We have these seat back pockets. I actually found these on clearance in the Target Bullseye's Playground, the dollar spot, for $2.50 each, which is super helpful because I have 7, 8, 9 kids in the car at a time. I need a lot of them. But you can just get them at Target. They make some that clip onto the sides of the seats or go in between the gaps between seats. So there are lots of different options. It doesn't have to be this one. I will link to some on Amazon down below in case you can't find something locally to you. This allows them to have a place for their water bottles, their books, their Kindles, whatever else they may have along with them. And this has a designated place for it to go that they can reach and get to, and they don't need help or guidance to get to those things. So what do the kids do in the car the whole time? This is the real big question, right? The primary answers for us are books, audiobooks, and drawing or coloring. One thing that you will not hear me say in this video is movies or TV shows or YouTube videos. We travel without screens. We always have. And we are just used to that. Now, no shame if you need to throw on a movie for your kids. But I would also encourage you that it's not necessary. We love audiobooks. We have a premium Audible subscription. I will leave a link down below if you're interested in that. It has absolutely been worth it for our family. You can also use free apps like Libby from your local library. I have both an FM transmitter as well as an auxiliary audio cable that I can plug directly into my car to play those digital audiobooks over the car speaker. We do have several physical CDs that the kids love. Dr. Seuss collections, Paddington, the James Herriot Treasury for children. Those kinds of things are a lot of fun. I will leave some of our favorite Audible books down below. The Narnia collection is fantastic. It is read by an all-star cast, and it's like 30 hours of engaging audio. It's great for those long trips. I've been singing the praises of the Amazon Kindle Kids Edition for years, and we still love them. When you have a set of Bluetooth headphones, the kids can listen to their own audiobooks, especially for us when we have a wide variety of ages. That helps the kids. If they don't want to listen to what's on the stereo, they can turn something else on. Of course, they can always just read books on their Kindle, which a lot of them do. And we also just bring regular physical books. A lot of them like to read regular books. And I also really enjoy like seek and find style books for younger kids. It keeps them engaged. It keeps them interested without taking up a lot of space. And it's not a screen. What do you like to do in the car?
I like to draw in the car.
You like to draw in the car? For drawing or coloring, it is helpful to have some kind of a lap desk. We have several of the ones from IKEA that the girls have gotten for their birthdays this year. I will leave that link down below. But you can get very, very simple ones. Target right now has some in Bullseye's Playground for $5 that are just the lap desk with a hard surface. You can also get art cases that already have all the supplies in them that have a hard side from Crayola. There are several options. One thing I did on our most recent trip is it was my mom's birthday and we were going to see her. So I bought a bunch of dollar store cards and handed them to my kids with some art supplies, and I let them personalize the cards. And when we arrived at my mom's house, they each had a birthday card to give her. And that was a lot of fun, and it kept everybody occupied for the better part of an hour. A couple other fun things that can be engaging for a wide variety of ages are the license plate game, keeping track of all the different license plates and states that you see along the way. My kids are getting particularly interested in this, as well as scavenger hunts. There are several versions of road trip scavenger hunts out there. It's really fun. You can kind of pick it up or let it go for a while as interest waxes and wanes. And one thing that some of my kids are getting really into is learning to follow along on a map. We've been known to hand them a road atlas, show them how to follow the freeway on it, and let them just watch the exit signs on the road and match it up with the road atlas. It also teaches them to read a map. So win, win, win. If you have a child on regular medication, I have one that takes regular ADHD medication, as well as we use melatonin for bedtime, and I always keep a bottle of liquid children's Benadryl in my purse because occasionally we run into some poison ivy or something, and I have a couple kids that will break out in hives. I don't have a center console in this vehicle, but I do have a dollar store basket that I can keep all of my essentials as well as my purse in right next to me so that those things are in reach. So when my alarm goes off that says, hey, it's time for your kiddo to have her ADHD medication, I can have it at hand and pass it back no matter where we are. I also keep a bottle of melatonin in my purse, so if we are out way past bedtime, we don't have to wait till we get home to get everybody started on their sleep routines. And if we have a medical emergency, that Benadryl is right there. If you do have kids that are still potty training, or perhaps older kids that are well potty trained but maybe not great at night yet, it's okay to have them travel in a pull-up. For bigger kids, I do recommend the Good Nights brand. Every kid is different, and they all overnight train at a different time, and there's absolutely no shame in that whatsoever. All right, now let's talk about food, because let's be honest, calories are super important to keeping kids in a good mood and pleasant on a long road trip. When in doubt, pass out calories. We definitely rely heavily on snack food. All the cookies, crackers, granola bars, the things that you may not want to buy in your own home on a regular basis that I sure don't give my kids on a regular basis. They're great for the car. We rely pretty heavily on granola bars. You can see this box has been through it with us. Goldfish, Oreos, Ritz crackers, all of those things are favorite car snacks for my kids. But the biggest thing about them is that they are passable. We can pass them back. They are self-contained. I don't have to prepare anything or chop anything or put anything in cups. It's all ready to go. And when we are starting to sort of melt down in the car, I can be like, all right, everybody get some calories. Take one and pass it back. And it makes a huge difference. Now, we think the kids might need fewer calories in the car because they're not moving around as much. But honestly, they may actually need more to be able to self-regulate their brains in the process, because they can't move around and get sort of that sensory stimulation that they need to self-regulate. They may actually need additional calories. So don't skimp out on the food and the snacks. I am not a big artificial foods person. I'm not a big snacker. At home, I do a lot of fruits and veggies, but the car is the place for it, man. You can also do fruits and veggies, self-contained carrot packs, apples, obviously. Apples, oranges, bananas are all self-contained. You don't have to do anything to them. You can pass them back and let your kids have them. So we do use those as well, but don't skimp on the snacks because you think that they're not moving around a lot. They may actually need more calories to make up for the lack of exercise to help them self-regulate while they're in the car. We will try to usually pre-pack at least one meal. I have some Ziploc sealed dinner containers. Something else that I have seen used a lot is a pencil caddy, like a school supply. You can find them really inexpensively at the dollar store, or right now it's back to school time. Target, Dollar Spot had them for $3 last night when I was there. They're just the right size for drinks and fries and whatever other food you may get at a fast food restaurant. Something else that we rely on a lot are our water bottles. We don't do a lot of bottled drinks or juices or sodas or anything like that. My kids all have reusable water bottles. They all have multiple reusable water bottles, in fact. But we keep several gallon jugs of water. We originally bought these and then we just continue to refill them from home as we go. But we have several of these gallon water bottles so that we can refill them as we go. And in the past, we have a 5-gallon cooler, a water cooler with a spigot on the end. I have filled that up and packed it in the back of the bus. I just bungee strap it to one of the seats so it doesn't roll around and spill. But when we stop, we can refill those water bottles as needed, and it definitely helps keep everybody happy on the trip. So what about stops? What about when you have to stop? I do make everybody get out and use the bathroom anytime we stop, whether it's for gas or a potty stop or whatever. Like if we're stopping, everybody get out and go. Now, when the kids were younger, I really worked on having them in buddy systems. Most of them were buddies with me because I had 6 kids under 6 for a while. So everybody just went with me into the bathroom and stayed with me in the bathroom. That was great. Now that they're getting older, especially as the boys got a little bit older and it was no longer appropriate for them to be in the women's room with me, I really stress that they stay together. Go in together, stay together, come out together. Do not leave your brother in alone. Now that I have one younger boy and some older boys, my oldest is a teenager now, I tell them to stay with their younger brother. Like, don't leave him alone in the bathroom without one of you. That's not only for safety, but it's also for practical things like if they can't reach the soap or the paper towels. Some of the older kids can help them with that. Now, a lot of times it is both me and my husband going in, and we can help as well. But I have done so many solo road trips. 5 years ago, I took all 8 of my kids by myself for a month-long, 5,000-mile trip. And a lot of times I didn't have help at those rest stops, especially for the boys. My husband was not in the car with us for that trip. So depending on your situation, you can do it. It can be done. You'll be great. If you are making a longer stop, like for a meal or something like that, if you have a chance to let your kids get out and do some physical activity, that is even better. I highly recommend, even if it's just a game of tag on the green space at a rest stop, that's great. If you can find a playground, even better. But any kind of physical activity to, again, help with that sensory regulation for your kids, do it. It's also good to have them grab as much trash as they can see if you're stopping. At the gas station, at a rest stop, at a restaurant, whatever. Just like look around, grab all the trash. My car does get pretty disgusting on road trips. It is what it is. The experiences are worth the mess to me. But when you have a chance, just grab the trash that you can see and throw it away. It'll help in the long run. Now, the ever important question, where should you stop to use the restroom? We love Love's travel stops, especially now with our camper because they are big enough to pull the RV into and out of, but they also have nice big bathrooms and any kind of snacks you might possibly need. Quick Trip, if you're up in the northern area of the country, Quick Trip is a great place to stop. If you're in the south, we love us some Buc-ee's. It's all the things. It is good food. It is big bathrooms. It is clean bathrooms. It is safe bathrooms. It is a large parking lot that the RV can get into and out of. It is always available gas pumps. Stop at Buc-ee's. Restaurants, Chick-fil-A, Cracker Barrel. You can find something that everybody likes to eat, and their bathrooms are going to be clean. McDonald's, actually, I don't love McDonald's food. I can drink their iced coffee, and I will sometimes buy my kids a basket of fries, but I don't love the food at McDonald's. But because they are regularly tearing down and rebuilding and renovating all the restaurants on a schedule, they always have newish, usable bathrooms. So McDonald's is an easy win when you need a rest stop on the road, and they're everywhere. Let's talk about when you get to your destination. A couple helpful hints for getting loaded and unloaded out of the car. I'm a big believer in car-sized throw blankets, something that each kid can have for themselves. It's big enough to cover up in if they get too cold, but that also doubles as extra blankets at your location. It's something familiar that they like, and it makes sure that you have extra bedding if you're having to spread out your sleeping arrangements or whatever. I am a big believer in that. All my kids have them, and they bring them on all of our road trips. We also have kid-sized backpacks and suitcases, and when we arrive at a location, each kid is responsible for carrying their own luggage. Now, obviously, if you have very small toddlers or infants, that's not practical. But once they can, it definitely makes it easier for mom and dad to not have to be loading and unloading every single little thing every time you stop. Kids also really thrive on being given responsibility, so let them carry their own bag. Now, currently, none of my kids are infants, but I have spent many, many years traveling with infants. My oldest son's first road trip happened when he was about 6 weeks old. We took him 5 to 6 hours away to meet my great-grandmother before she passed. So I have been traveling with infants from the beginning. My 5,000-mile, month-long road trip happened when my youngest daughter was 2 months old. It is absolutely possible. So when possible, pair another adult or an older sibling with infants just to help them reach things. I know for a while, my youngest took a pacifier before she found her thumb, and my oldest son, who was 8 at the time, would sit next to her, and when she would start getting upset, he was able to reach the pacifier for her. We now occasionally travel with our grandson, and obviously his mom, our daughter, is the one who sits with him, and she is able to attend to his needs. But when you have someone that can help, again, maybe not in every situation, there are times when you have to stop. You will have to stop more frequently with an infant. But when you have someone older who can attend to some of those basic needs, it does make it a lot easier to stretch out the drive time. Now, when you have like a young infant who is on a nursing or bottle schedule, try to keep everybody else in the car on the baby's schedule. So when baby needs to eat, everybody else gets out and goes to the bathroom. When baby needs to eat, it's time to refill water bottles and pass out more snacks. Keep everybody occupied while the baby is asleep or happy. And then when the baby needs attention, make that the time that everybody else gets what they need. So absolutely possible to travel with infants. I have been doing it for years. I am only just now in a stage where I don't have any. Overall, kids learn what they are taught. And so if you act like being in the car, traveling long distances is totally normal and good, they assume that it is totally normal and good. They will get used to it, I promise. Let us know in the comments down below what other tips and tricks you have for traveling with kids on long road trips. Hopefully you found something valuable. If you did, would you give us a thumbs up so that other people see it as well? I am so glad that you are here. We love you guys. You are worth your own hard work, and we'll see you on the road.